Well, hello, and welcome back to another exciting edition of Coffee with Stephen. So, this week's blog and accompanying video blog is somewhat somber. Last week we had some really distressing news, one of which I know you guys are obviously aware of, and that was the unbelievable events that took place in New Zealand. I absolutely wanted to talk about that, but in addition to that, my daughter actually suffered somewhat of a loss over this last weekend as well. Since she was really in seventh grade at the Orange County School of Performing Arts, one of the teachers there, a guy by the name of Mr. S, and his full name is written in the blog. Mr. S was a Polish immigrant that had come to the United States, was absolutely spectacular concert piano player, and really throughout her entire musical career, every time she would do a competition or a special show or something like that, Mr. S was her piano accompanist. And as a result of that, they had a very strong sort of mentor-protege relationship over the years. Anyways, Mr. S was a private pilot student. And if you guys were watching the news last week, you saw that there was a horrific fatality crash at Compton Municipal Airport. And we were given the news at the end of last week that Mr. S was the fatality in that crash. So the entire OSHA community is suffering this tremendous loss, and so is Cheney. So I definitely wanted to talk about that, but I also had to address the events that had taken place in New Zealand. And as I was sort of contemplating this, I realized that how we approach tragedy is oftentimes very dependent on what the methodology was that took place in that tragedy. When it's an accident, or when it's natural, events or things like that, we mourn the loss, but we don't have a feeling of rage or hatred towards the instrumentality. Obviously, you can't hate a tornado. It's very difficult to hate some sort of mechanical accident that's taken place. When it's the direct action of a deranged individual, then hate is entirely appropriate as far as I'm concerned. So anyways, I sort of compare and contrast both of these things. I also put out there in the newsletter, or in the blog rather, for all of our church and synagogue and basically houses of worship that use Artemis as a training facility, we are going to be doing a deconstructive analysis on the events that took place in New Zealand, because candidly, there's a lot of lessons that can be learned from it. In any event, I hope you read the blog. I hope you enjoy it. And, until next week, I want you to train constantly, train consistently, train repetitively, and train with purpose. And above all else, stay safe. Thank you for watching.